Okay, let's start the class with a word of prayer. So please close your eyes, bow your heads, and let's pray. Dear Father, thank you again. Thank you because you are so good with us. Thank you because your love is huge and we cannot measure it. Thank you. Thank you because we know that we can ask you for all things and you are going to answer to our praise. Now that we are going to start this class, please help us. Help us to understand everything, to share our experiences and all the things that maybe we are doing in the classroom in order to help other classmates to do good practices in the classroom. Also, help us to learn all the new things we need in order to do good, excellent classes. Thank you because we have this opportunity. And please also help us to practice English, to speak fluently, and also to get this skill from you. Thank you because again, we can ask you all things and we can be sure that you are listening to us and you are going to answer to each prayer we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, my friends, welcome again to the class. Hello, David. Oh my God, it's nice
Hi,
to have
teacher.
you in the class. Long time
Oh, stars,
seeing you.
welcome.
Oh my God. Finally, you appear.
Finally, at the end. But yeah, I'm here.
Wow. No, but it's so nice to have you here in the class. We were missing you a lot.
Yes, yes. Teacher, I'm currently in Barranquilla.
Yes, that's what Aleja told me the other day that you told her. So she told me that you're in
Oh,
Barranquilla.
yes.
So we are
Oh,
close.
yes,
We are very close.
yes. Yeah, a lot of things happen with my job, with my family, and so I
Yeah.
had to leave Medellin. So it was difficult. I had to make a choice, and well, at the end, it was really really cool. Right now, I'm working in a company, an amazing place, even better than the one I was
Good.
working before. So I'm gonna continue studying. I mean, I continue next semester because I know that right now it's really difficult because I've been missing a lot of classes from the other um, signatures also. So I know it's gonna be difficult to pass this semester. So the next one I'm gonna be back again
Oh,
full time.
but that's good. It's perfect. I mean,
Yes.
just organize all your things and you can start again. That's no problem. You know that you have a big advantage is that you are very young, and that's good. Okay, if you're young,
Thanks
don't
God.
worry.
Thanks God.
Yeah, thank God you're still young, so you can do a lot of things. So just organize
Yes.
yourself with these changes. Things. Don't worry, everything is going to be okay. But I'm so happy to have you
Yes.
here.
Thank you,
As
teacher.
that you're here.
Hmm? Yes. Go ahead, teacher. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Okay, my friends, today, hello, Sandrita. Welcome to the class. Okay, let me put you here in the list. Sandrita, okay. We are just missing Margelli and Julie. You have to pray for Julie. Julie is a little bit sick. And also Paula is missing. Okay.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, my dear. How are you? Okay, okay, let's start. So today we are going to talk about, let me open here the thing for the class. Okay, this topic is easy. Yes, it's easy because we are going to talk about again about culture. I think in the first or second class we talk about culture, remember? We talk about the importance of teaching culture, why it's important to know about culture, remember? That we talk about that. So today we are going to talk about that, but this time we are going to look back. In the first or second class, we were trying to look at like in front and beyond, right? Trying to imagine how was, how were the classes were going to be, and trying to think why could we need to learn about culture. But now we are going to look back to all the things we have done until this point, and then we are going to realize, okay, why is it important now that you know about a lot of aspects of culture from other countries? Now that you know that, now that you have all the knowledge here, now you are going to think and you are going to try to answer to questions like, why is it important to teach to my students culture? Now that I know a little bit of culture of different countries, is it important for me to teach to my students culture? Why? Why not? It depends on what you think. And also, we are going to think about the best methods to teach or to give the culture to our students. So we're going to talk about all these things. But to start, I'm going to do like an opening, okay? So we know that culture is like a group of things, characteristics that people have, or a group of people can have, that could be like the style, the living style, could be there also the type of food they eat, the way they speak, the way they behave, maybe some thoughts about life, maybe if they believe in God or not. It's just characteristic of a group. I was reading about culture, and it says that it's difficult to define culture. And many authors have tried to do it, but it's not easy because it's a huge word. And then we are going to try to understand what is culture. So now that we know a little bit what is culture, this group of characteristics of a group of people, now we can see that there are some concepts. For example, enculturation, acculturation, cultural awareness, cross-cultural awareness, cultural identity, culture bump, and culture shock. There are many terms, but we are not going to study them now. Don't worry. All these things are in the document that I share with you in the campus. The name is Teaching Culture in the EFL/ESL Classroom. So I just want to point in the first two concepts. The first is cultural awareness. Sorry, that's not the one. Let me see what is the one. It's enculturation and acculturation. Let me see what is the thing. I have it here, but I don't remember where it is now. Okay, enculturation and acculturation. They are very similar, but the difference between them are this one. Listen. The enculturation is when you put like a little child and you start teaching the child your culture, the culture where the child lives. So he starts learning how to speak, how to eat, how to live, how to behave, where to go, what to do in his society, the society where he lives. And I mention a child because it's difficult to think about an adult with no culture. Normally, when we born in a society and we get this culture. We live an enculturation since we are children, and we live that culture until we die. Well, unless we change the country where we live, but that first culture, let's call it that first culture that we get, when we are getting that, the name of that is enculturation. Now, acculturation is when you move to another country, being an adult, for example, and you get to know the other culture where you are living now. So you are learning new points of view, you are learning new customs, new ways of living, new ways of eating, getting dressed in different ways according to the culture, and all these things. For example, let's think about I'm living here, but then I get a job in Iraq, for example. So I have to go there and I have to start living like they live, dressing like they dress, and behaving like they behave. Because if I'm living in that country, I have to respect the way they live. So that is acculturation. When I get this second culture, or third or fourth culture, I don't know, but not the first one, okay? Others, from the second onwards. So when you are getting this new culture, the name of the process is acculturation, okay? So there are two concepts that I wanted to share with you because I think they are important. It's important to understand how we get that second culture, because that's the point we are discussing today. If our students need to get or to have that acculturation, not being in that country, but being here, learning the language and also learning the culture. So I want to know if you understand this. Can you please confirm that you understand these points?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Lejita. Okay. The rest of you, did you understand?
Yes,
Yolanda, you say yes?
yes, teacher.
Okay, you understood. Okay. JD, Sandra, Laura, David, did you understand what I say?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, perfect. JD and Laura, I think you understood also. Okay. Well, let's continue. So, having in mind all this introduction about culture, about what culture is, and all the aspects that we have to take in mind when we think in culture, now let me ask you the questions that we have for today's class. So, let me copy and paste them in the chat. The first one, let me copy this and paste the question here. Okay, so the first question for this class is, oh, I copy everything? No, it's okay. Okay, the point is this one. Now that we have learned a lot about the culture from other countries, now with that in mind, why could the importance be of teaching our students about English-speaking countries' culture? Why is it? Is that important, and why? Is it important to teach culture to our students? Why?
Well, okay, I'm going to say my opinion. I think it is important because, I mean, we don't know when an opportunity is going to show up for some of your students. You know, they never know what will happen with them. And maybe someday they get, like, let's say, a job opportunity or a scholarship in another country or something. And if they know something about the culture of that country, they're going to be prepared and they're going to do very well in that country. I think it's really important. And not just that, maybe, you know, they get to meet someone from that country here and they could be helpful to that person because they kind of know how to treat that person, how to talk to them, because they understand them a little bit more because they know about the culture.
Okay, thank you, Alejita. Yes, it's true. It's true, and it's important to know that they are here today, but tomorrow they could go to another place. For example, your case. I remember when Aleja was my student in Colben, she was studying there in Colombia with us in Medellin, normal. But suddenly, she had to go to the States because she had the opportunity to go there and to study there. So now she had to learn a new culture, not just the language. She had to get custom of other practices, other points of view, other ways to live, right? So I think Aleja's
Yeah.
example
Hmm.
is very near to what will happen.
And it's a little bit easy. It was a little bit easy because I mean, in United States they have a lot of culture, so it wasn't that hard. But if you look at another country, let's say England is a really strong country with like a really strong culture, and it will be really hard to be new in that country. I mean, United States, at least you have like people from the same place as you, and I think it's a little bit easier. But there are other countries in which it is really different, so it is really necessary to know about their culture.
Yes, that's totally true. England is an excellent example of this because yes, living there, not having idea about the culture, it has to be very difficult. Very, very difficult because people there are not as friendly as American people. They are more like, I don't know, different. Different. Okay.
Teacher, excuse me.
Yes.
You were her English teacher?
Sorry, ma'am.
You were her English teacher?
Yes, in Colvin.
Oh, she learned English in this country?
Well, she had idea when she was in Colvin, and she learned a little bit in the classroom, but I think she learned the rest of the language what there in the States, right, Aleja?
Yes. I've always loved English, and I don't know if you remember, but me and my friends, we used to like this band, that One Direction, and they sing in English, and we were like really into that kind of music. So we were always translating their songs, learning their songs. We were like so into the English language. So I really liked it, and I think I was like a really good student in your class. I mean, I always got good grades because I liked it, and I think that helped me a lot. But like, I only know basics. I mean, I could understand a little bit, and maybe if I were to read something, I could understand. But when it comes to speaking, I mean, you're never like too prepared, like never. I still get scared sometimes when I'm going to speak English. So, but yeah, I learned a little bit here, and I think it was because I had really good teachers like for English class. I always remember teacher Reina. Oh my God, he was such a good teacher.
Yes, I remember.
And I mean, I started to love English because of him. And then, well, the teachers before you, the two last ones they weren't that nice, but then you came and it was really good. So I really loved that language. So I think that helped me a lot to like when I got to United States, I really like it was really easy for me to learn the language.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really important that the students could have a good experience with language because in that case, for example, Aleja, she went to the States and she was in love with English. So for her was easy breezy and nice, and she was very motivated. So it's nice to keep our students in love with English. And not just with the English, also with the culture. If we can teach them about different type of culture. So that's why we are talking about in the first question, what could be the importance of
Travel
teaching?
to other place.
Uh-huh. Yes. To
Yes.
other place is one of the importance we have. Yes.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're welcome, my dear. Okay. Any other opinion? What could be the importance of teaching English? Sorry, of teaching English culture or English speaking culture to our students? What would be the importance?
Um, well, know my pronunciation is very bad.
No problem. That's
Um,
practice.
it it is important to teach our students and other cultures because they learn cultures and learn to see the way of life and the vocabulary they use.
Yes, true. The way of living, the vocabulary, that's very important. And yes, it's a strong point. That's true. Okay, any other idea about?
Teacher understood?
Yes, I understood. Thank you.
Teacher,
You
David
did it
here.
very well. Okay, David.
Yeah, as Aleja was saying, the culture is really important. And in the United States, it's kind of easy because you have a lot of Latin Americans living there. So anywhere you go, you're going to find someone that maybe they are not Colombians. They may not be from the same city. Maybe they don't have the same ideas. They don't live as well as you do. I mean, they don't have the same way of life, but that's really helpful, you know. But something that we forget sometimes is that culture and language are so related to each other. We cannot separate them in any way because the words that we use right now in English, they are determined by the culture, and the culture is the one that says what kind of language we are going to be speaking in the next 10 years. What kind of words? For example, words like Google, you couldn't find that in a dictionary 15 years ago, or Twitter, Facebook, or mainstream media. You wouldn't find that. Social media. I mean, that is something that the culture of these days has shaped the way that we live. So sometimes we kind of try to separate them, culture and language. For me, it is impossible because you need to learn not only the language of of a specific country, but also the culture. If you don't learn the culture, how are you going to understand? How are you going to know when this word is used in a specific situation or not? And that's really common in English when words have different meanings. And the only way for us to understand which meaning is the one that we're going to be using is because of the culture. I mean, it's impossible, almost impossible for someone that is new in learning English to try to understand the context of a situation or of a conversation if you don't have the knowledge of the country or of the knowledge of the culture itself. Now, if we're speaking about books, for example, if you want to read a book like Harry Potter, which is a book from J.K. Rowling, she's from Great Britain, you need to learn the culture first, actually, even though that is a children's book, because she has a lot of things that she takes from her culture and she puts that in her books. If you take the books that were written in the 1700s, the same thing happens. The books that are written today, for example, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, when he wrote 100 Years of Solitude, what a fantastic book. And this book is full of our culture, of our Colombian culture. So if someone was trying to speak Spanish and that person was trying to read this book, they would get like, what is this guy talking about here? I mean, because when you read these kind of books, the first time that I read the book, I thought, oh my God, this is like the place I live in. I mean, these stories are so similar to what I see every day because it is in my culture. So English and any language that you try to think of, as you were saying, for example, in Germany, but let's say, for example, Japanese and Chinese, these are cultures that are so close in themselves. So you need to learn a lot about the culture to actually understand the language. So yes, it is, for me, it is one of the most important things.
Okay, thank you, David. You mentioned a lot of nice points that we have to take in mind. And also, I have to comment something. You say that we cannot separate language from culture. But you know what? I can tell you that a lot of teachers, English teachers in Colombia, they are separating language from culture. They are teaching English in Spanish or Colombian culture. They are teaching English, thinking in Spanish, just by translating. And that doesn't work because our students need to start thinking in English. So it's important to have in mind, okay, I'm teaching this language, but I had to take real documents to bring the language to them. So I had to take documents that are from the country and take it to the classroom. And it's very important to do it. Literature, news, magazines, and all this stuff that can help our students to know that thinking in English is different of thinking in Spanish, completely different. They can be similar in some points, but when you start thinking in another language, your mind, your brain, is like it expands and it starts looking life in different ways. It's like you have just one or two different ways, and then when you get another culture, you start thinking in 3, 4, 5 different ways, and you can appreciate things more clearer or more with a more understanding of situations. Why? Let me tell you another point why I think it's important to teach culture. Our students, most of them, they think they are islands. It's just them and that's it. That's the whole word, them, no more. They don't accept there are other opinions. They don't accept that there are other realities different from theirs. They don't accept that other people will be right as he or she is right. And it's important to teach them that the world is huge and we are just like a point in this universe. And they have to understand that there are other way of thinking, and they are good, okay. They are good also. They are okay also. They have to open their mind and to be more tolerant with other people and to say, okay, I think in this way, but maybe my friend think it different, and that's okay. We are friends. We can share other things. We can speak about other things. We can continue being friends. So they have to accept that. And that's the difficult thing. Because you know that even in the classroom, with students from the same country, students from the same city, maybe students from the same neighborhood, and they are still fighting because they think differently. So it's difficult to take the culture to our students and to teach them that there are more people around outside of Colombia, other countries, other groups of young people, other people that can think in different ways, people that do crazy things, but for them it's normal, and for us it's like, what? But that's life. And that's culture. So that's the point that we have. Well, that's one of the points that we have to take into account when we are teaching English. Maybe some people could say, and how can I do that? How can I take culture to them? Well, we have to get it first. We have to get first that culture, and then we can share with them what we are learning, what we have got before, maybe. But it is important to start doing it. If we are not doing it, it's important to start doing that. So let's go to the second question. It says, let me copy this and paste it here. Second question is, how can we teach culture in our classroom? Have you ever tried to do it before? What did you do? Did it work? So, who wants to answer? Me gustaría que participaran Laurita o Sandra o JD, también Yolanda. Obviamente Aleja y Dave van a participar, pero me gustaría escucharlas porque no las he escuchado mucho. Por lo menos Laurita no la he escuchado y tampoco a JD.
Okay, so we wait until they talk. So then we talk, yeah?
Okay, yes, Aleja, do your participation while they think what to say.
Okay. Okay, you know, I've never done it before, so, but I'm trying with the activity, like for the homework, you know. But I think I have learned a lot with this class, you know, because when I was thinking of what I was going to do for the homework, you know, I was thinking we had to do like the same kind of thing. They have to do the same kind of thing that we were doing for this class, you know. So I was already thinking to tell them if they could do a magazine or they could do a brochure or they could do a video, you know. I was already thinking of those ideas. So I think it was really helpful. Like this class has been really helpful. And if I ever get to be like the English teacher that has to teach about culture, I think I will do it the same way you've been doing it with us.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, my dear.
Because I mean, you learn and it's really easy and it's really fun. I mean, it's not like you have to write long essays and you have to read long papers, you know, and you get bored about it. No, it's something that you can practice. You can look for images, you can watch videos and everything, and it gets into your brain. Like all those fun and easy things, they get to your mind like easily.
Yeah, that's true. And it's the best way. Well, I think is the best way of learning. When you are not just reading by looking to a paper, not just listening by listening to videos or audios or whatever, and not just by doing. You are doing the three things. So we are like working in the three ways of learning, and that's what I think is more efficiently, because everybody is going to learn. It doesn't matter the way of learning they have, because it goes with the three things. So it's good. You are going to do it by yourself. And I think when you are learning something and you start doing that and practicing that, you learn more. I think you learn twice. So that's why I think this subject has to be practical.
Yes, and you know, you just said something that is really true. You learn twice, and also, I mean, I learn about the culture, and I also learn how to teach others about the culture.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Alejita, for your comments. Yeah, it's completely true. And it's nice to know that you are getting the point and you are getting ideas when you have to do it. So thank you, Alejita. Okay, JD, do you want to say something?
Teacher, I have not had the opportunity to teach in classroom about cultures.
Yeah.
But now in English Day, I want to do it.
That's good. When are you going to do the English day?
In English Day, English Day.
When is it? When is it? ¿Cuándo es?
Del Wednesday. Todavía no sé. Mejor dicho. Pero es la otra semana. The next week. Sí.
Next week. Okay, no problem. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you, JD. Okay, anyone else? Laurita, I want to hear your voice, Laura. Okay, Sandrita, I want to say something.
Teacher, about the English Day,
I have a problem
What
because
happened?
in my school it's 29 May, and the uh, homework is the next class.
Yeah.
But ¿cómo se dice? Organized with my student the 23 in the classroom,
Okay, okay,
and I can take pictures and videos,
okay,
but only day in the class, nor all
okay,
school.
okay. Well, let's see how it goes. Just continue doing and try to do your best, please. Try to do your best. Okay?
But if I can't the 29th take a pictures, I see you.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Si puedo el 29 tomarles de pronto foticos en la actividad que se va a hacer ya con todo el colegio, yo se las muestro, profe, pero pues yo lo adelanté con eso porque sé que no voy a alcanzar para el 29 a hacerlo con todo el colegio.
Sí, porque justamente para esas fechas por allá, por el 28, 29, yo debo pasar notas. Entonces ya por esa
Exacto.
razón.
Sí,
Ya será
entonces
antes,
yo
claro.
mirando esa fecha hice que ellos me adelantaran el trabajito, pues no diciéndoles que es para la universidad, porque pues no lo quiero que lo vean como esa forma, pero sí lo quise hacer como para
Sí.
verificar que ellos sí traen el material, que las actividades las tienen listas y ellos están animados de
Yes.
preparándolas para mostrármelas a mí, que ya las tienen listas para aplicarlas el 29. Entonces yo voy a aprovechar y
Okay.
hacen en clase, pues yo tomo ahí las foticos y los videitos que pueda, pero va a ser en cada grado. O sea, los de cuarto, los de quinto, los de tercero, en cada gradito lo podrían mostrar. ¿Tienes
Ok.
alguna?
No hay- Perfecto. Ahí haces lo mejor que tú puedas hacer para que me mande la tarea. Pero sí, no hay
Ok.
problema. Ok. Thank you. Laurita, nos tienes aquí pendientes de ti. No te oímos, Laura. No sé si está allí o no está allí. Bueno, mientras que Laurita se decide. Yolanda, ¿quieres decirnos algo? Acerca de la pregunta que dice, how can we teach culture in our classroom? Have you ever tried to do it before? What did you do? Did it work?
Teacher, your class has been very good
Um,
to teach culture in our area. I have I have done it with what I have learning in this course.
Ajá,
I had mostrado
I have shown, ajá,
then the videos and then ask it,
ajá,
then questions showed a workshop.
ajá.
¿Quién sabe ahorita qué fue? ¿Cómo me entendieron esa cosa tan enredada?
Entonces, ¿qué
Yes,
los
I
videos
understand.
Yolanda?
Yes, teacher.
Que tú has mostrado los videos a alguien más, fue lo que entendí.
Sí, profe, sí.
Bien, bien.
And videos and then ask it then questions toward our workshop. Sí, yo le he mostrado los videos a los chicos
Ajá,
y sobre eso entonces ya he puesto como talleres haciéndoles preguntas acerca de lo que ya ellos ven ahí, de lo que aprenden de los videos,
qué bien.
de tus videos, de los que has puesto ahí en el campus.
Ajá. Ay, qué bien, excelente. Y les gusta, les ha gustado a los que he montado.
Yes.
Bien, eso está bien. Y es que de todo eso que suba el campus es bueno que vamos como documentando, porque de todos aprendemos algo acerca de cultura. Estos últimos que puse acerca de esos English Day que encontré en internet, también nos ayudan mucho para ver cómo podemos aplicar para dar esa pequeña pinceladita de cultura a nuestros estudiantes.
Yes,
Entonces,
teacher.
son bien interesantes.
I has been very interesting all.
That's good. I love to know that. Thank you, Yolanda, because yes, our job as a teachers is just that. We want to teach to our students and to put in them the interest in all these things. And now I know that you're interested in all these things, so I feel so happy because of that. So that's very nice. So now I want to hear David. David, what do you think? How can we teach culture in our classroom? What do you imagine? Because
Well,
you're not a teacher, but you maybe can have some ideas.
well, actually, I am not a teacher yet, but I'm a trainer. I'm working right now as a trainer in the company that I'm working for. So we have to train different groups that want to come into the company. We have to teach them about it. It is good because I mean I don't have to teach them grammar and how to speak the language, but I actually have to teach or to talk a lot about the culture. In this case, specifically about the medical system in the United States, and it is related actually to the culture because it's really different from the one that you see in Great Britain or Australia or here in Colombia. But yes,
Yeah.
I'm not a teacher yet, but I do remember one opportunity that I really learned a lot about how to teach culture. It was from a teacher that I had in Bogota. His name is Alex.
Uh-huh.
It was I mean, it was amazing because he wasn't teaching English at all. He was just teaching about culture every single class. For example, the next class, he would talk about the rock industry in the United States and how the rock industry in itself was created around the world. In the next class, he would talk about the movies business, for example. The next class, he would talk about the history of the United States or of World War II, for example.
Yes.
So every single class, he was actually talking about something that we didn't knew that we were interested in because we wanted. I mean, in my case, I really wanted to learn about the country. It was beautiful
Yeah.
for me because I wasn't even worried about anything about English because he was teaching English through culture. So it was really good
Yeah.
because it was so different. It was the first class that I ever felt that I was actually learning more things than just a verb, that grammar and how to pronounce things or how to write properly. So it was
Yes.
pretty good. So I think that's a good way, and that's actually what you do. I mean, you do it in your way, and he was doing it his way, but it's actually the same. I mean, you take one class. This class we're going to talk about the United States culture, and as we're going to talk about this other country, and in this assignment we are going to do this specific assessment. But this assessment is going to be about one country, one culture. So at the end,
Yes.
not only learning the language because you have to speak it, you have to do it in English, but you're also learning about the culture because you're speaking about that specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, as the other girls said before, yeah, teacher, your way is really good.
Ah,
So keep going for the next classes that you're going to be teaching. Let's hope that one of your students in the next semester. And
yeah.
even though I actually don't feel myself like a teacher because the things that I'm doing right now it's only for 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna start working on another project here in the company. But in the
Yes.
future, maybe they want us to, since I'm studying this career, they want me to stay there with them, and so I think I'm gonna stay there teaching. But I'm gonna try actually to use a lot of things that I learned here, because you have
Awesome.
to try to teach culture instead of the language. I mean, we need to
Yeah.
use the language to teach another thing, not just teach the language. I mean, because you're missing the point, you're missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yes, it is possible.
we can have just the culture as the main topic to teach the language. So that's good.
Yes, correctly.
Yeah. Well, my dear students, I think that's all for today. It was very nice to have this English practice and also this, well, sharing of ideas. That was very, very nice. And I hope you enjoyed the class and also you learn many things from this. And well, I hope you have a very wonderful evening, sweet dreams. And well, let's see next class. Okay? So, bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
teacher.
Have a good night.
You're welcome. Have a
And
nice
I
day.
want you
See you
guys
soon,
to
and
pray for me because
thank you
I'm
very
doing
much.
my homework tomorrow. I'm going to the class. Like I already went and explained the homework, helped them if they had any questions, and tomorrow they're going to present it to me, and I'm going to record it. So
That's excellent. Oh my
yeah.
God. That's exciting.
Yeah, so I'm really nervous because I don't know if they really like they got really prepared. So like if they didn't, that's my only chance because like I'm leaving my city tomorrow. So like yeah, I want you
Yeah.
guys to pray for me.
Oh, yes. We are going to pray for you.
We will. We will.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Keep on going, girls. Thank you, teacher, for everything. Have a nice.
Okay. You're
Bye.
welcome.
Have a good
God
night.
bless you. Bye.